Say hello to Vampire Hunter 2, aka Night Warriors 2. Still not confused yet? So yeah, if you notice the sound and the character selection, this is music straight out of Night Warriors, Darkstalker's Revenge. What's the deal here? There are 0 Vampire Savior characters represented. All of the Night Warriors are included. No additions, no subtractions. It's just now we are under Vampire Savior's rules, which means you get 2 lives instead of 2 out of 3 rounds. And we're going to do so as Morrigan. Because we gotta play Morrigan eventually. As you can imagine, this game is very similar gameplay-wise to Savior 2, so we're not going to be talking too much about the gameplay. We're going to be talking about Morrigan instead. She is basically your Shoto, with an air dash. That's pretty much it. Like, she has some unique tricks. Like this grab. Or this Valkyrie turn. But really, she's not a bad character to start playing the Darkstalkers series with. Especially if you're coming in from Street Fighter. And you don't mind a little sex appeal. Because the difference between Felicia and Morrigan during development is very interesting. Originally, Felicia, her character was supposed to be the sexy one, the sexy cat girl type. And Morrigan, instead, she was supposed to be the cutesy character. I just can't imagine that. I can picture them going for something like a Lilith design, but I just can't picture this. And yeah, if you haven't figured it out yet, much like Savior 2, this version was not released outside of Japan. There is a version down the line that will attempt to combine Savior 2 and Hunter 2 and lead them into the original Vampire Savior fold, and we will get to that. It is definitely weird. This reeks of ROM hacking these characters in. It's like Vampire Savior Night Warriors edition. Okay, gotta land something. Nah, too far. Okay. Okay. Alright, it's just Rikuo, aka Alba, takes a lot of time to fight against. He's a tester. He's a headache. He flips around the screen. He has moves that gas you, poison you. I've been over this already. But what he really likes to do is grab you. I gotta stop. Thank you! So the neat thing about this Capcom Fighting Collection is that it has shortcuts for some of its more complicated moves. Morrigan has those in spades. She demands lightning-quick button combinations if you want to do a Raging Demon, if you want to do her finishing shower. I'm sure that's not what it's called, but it's what's on the mind right now. Sorry. Anacaris, I've already been over you. I don't really like you that much. You are basically the doll sim of Darkstalkers. And we've seen how well doll sim does in a versus series format, aka not very good at all. Okay. Thankfully, we have that. Oh god, the white life. I forgot. Thank you. Alright, yeah, Donovan with his proper Night Warriors theme now. Not the proper stage, but his proper theme. I actually like this palette for him. It especially works well for Anita, like the gold dress. He looks just like Donovan now. Okay. Yep. All right. I would rather not fight you up close, no offense. I've seen what you can do up close. So yeah, per Night Warriors rules, Phobos, aka Hoitzel, is the mid-boss. Still confused by the names? Don't worry. The Japanese version changes names of the third of the cast. I say it's the Japanese version, but it's the original, because I'm so used to the American names. I'm so used to Hoitzel, I'm so used to BB Hood, I'm so used to Talbane. If you thought Street Fighter was harder to keep up with, at least Street Fighter has, like, common nomenclature. Boxer, Dictator, Claw, everybody knows that. In case you don't realize it, Phobos here has some brand new tricks, some new animations. There we go. Yeah, gotta watch out for the new gun. It is a different animation, but it's just as lethal. There we go. Alright. That brings us to the main event, and you probably know what comes next. It's Fetus of God! It's Jeddah! No. It's Pyron. The nasty green fire alien, who is nowhere near as cool as Jeddah, is back. You try to give him as cool an entrance as Jeddah, but it doesn't work. So yeah, now that Pyron is the proper final boss again, he acts like it. I said he acts like it. I said he acts like it. Thank you. Tiny bit of resistance there. Yeah, be wary of the fire wheel move at least. Alright! That's Vampire Hunter 2 done. You don't understand the beauty of my plan. It's a rather silly thought. Pyron feels his body is being weakened gradually. After all, Pyron was just another mental food to him, since he was captured in this dimension. He is the master of dark intent, who was released from subordination to an unwilling death that lasted for 100 years. His soul scattered all over, and the remains are starting to converge in the outskirts of the demon world. Can you hear his voice calling from the bottom of the darkness? I'd like to thank BG Museum for those translations that I have, quote, borrowed. But that is Vampire Hunter 2. This is easily the weakest of this little trilogy. For one thing, it has less characters. And that's pretty much where that conversation begins and ends. Vampire Savior is the competitive standard. Savior 2 switches some characters around, but at least some of the fan favorites are here to stay. And Hunter 2, just... You know those cool Savior characters we added? They're gone now. They don't exist here. Like I said, this kind of feels like one of those Super Nintendo ROM hacks where they just put characters in, except the part where they take characters out. And that's pretty much the one thing that sticks out about this game. The cool characters just aren't there, so the version isn't as cool. It is a nice little... the word I'm looking for. It is a nice little capsule. It was a nice idea from Capcom, but it's just another case of... why did you even bother? You pretty much made these versions because you wanted to correct an error that you made, because you basically ran out of room on your own hardware. And then you just said the heck with all that. Let's add characters back in. Let's take some out. What's the worst that could happen? But yeah, that's Vampire Hunter 2. That should about do it for the Darkstalkers series. With the exception of ports and revisions, we have, to this date in 2022, yet to have a proper new Darkstalkers game. Skins aside, appearances in versus games and crossovers aside, that's been it for them. And Darkstalkers is an interesting Capcom series. It allowed them to get a lot more creative, not just make human characters, focus on more of a monster mash, and it is a curiosity. But for now, let's take this from the streets, from the Darkstalkers, back to the pocket.